I was just laughing about something. It's gone really slow. Right.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Peaches, 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 peaches. Right, welcome to Geeks Unleashed, episode 121. I'm Mark.
I'm Jasmine.
Each week on Geeks Unleashed, we like to bring some geeky news, catch up on our geeky pop culture lives, as well as bring you something adapted from the comic book or gaming world.
Yes, and before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. We appreciate that. We would love it if you would like this video and subscribe to our channel. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, we appreciate that as well. We would also very much love it if you would leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser.
Also, as we've mentioned many times, we have Ko-Fi. If you would like to chuck some money in the tin, we would much appreciate it. So it helps us to run things, and that's all. So
yeah, for me to go and see Mario, it cost me a total of $30
really,
just for me. Yeah, because I went to a theater where I had to pay to park.
oh wow,
And so I paid $5 to park. The ticket was $15.
15. So you paid $15 for the cinema ticket, and then how much to park?
5 to park.
So $20, and
And
that
then
was
I
10.
got a small popcorn and
Oh,
a
okay.
drink. So
Oh, I never buy food or drink at cinema. I always get stuff from the shop before I
yeah.
go.
Well,
Like,
it was close to dinner time, and I was like, by the time I get out of here, like it'll be past my dinner time. So
oh no, like so
yeah.
yeah. When I went the other day, we went early. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh no, we didn't go early. We went at 1 in the afternoon. But anyway, I had to go to the shop beforehand, and I bought a couple of drinks and for all of us
Okay. Do you have to
from.
sneak them in, or do they let you take them in?
So do you know what? For years, I always would sneak them in. Like
Uh-huh.
I would always sneak them in. But then I read somewhere that apparently they can't stop you from taking your own stuff in. So now I just walk in
With your
like,
drinks.
well, I don't hold the bottle in my hand,
Yeah.
but like I walked in the other day just holding the plastic bag from the shop,
Yeah.
and no one said anything. So
Interesting. Okay, so like so now I'm in Texas, right? But when I lived in California, I worked for an AMC theater in California, and their policy was we don't like to tell people no. So they let you bring in anything you wanted. And so whenever on my off days, if I would go to the movies, I would stop at the Chipotle next door and take my entire like Chipotle order with me into the movie theater because like they didn't care if you brought food in. That wasn't always the case here. Like I still sneak like bottles of water in my purse.
I remember once I was really hungry, like you just said, and I thought you couldn't do it. So I went to Burger King next door, bought a
Uh-huh.
whole Burger King, and like put it all into my bag. Like, I had a rucksack like from work.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, they can't tell me to not bring my rucksack in, and they're clearly not going to search it. But I didn't want to go
Yeah.
in like with the Burger King, and it's mainly like the drink. I was like, so how do I sneak the drink in? So I was
Yeah.
like, I put the drink like inside my coat because I was like
Uh-huh.
so worried that I was going to get told off. Like, this is quite a few years ago. Now I would just walk in holding the drink. Like, so, and if they said anything, I'd be like, and what? So,
Yeah. And
um, and yeah, but no, but I read an article ages ago that cinema chains don't won't stop you. So I was like,
oh, interesting.
after I read that, I was like, okay, well, and do you know what? No one says a single thing to me about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
Huh.
don't take the mick and walk in with like a whole Pizza Hut or anything.
Yeah,
Like,
I usually go on the weekends and I go to the first showing. It doesn't save me any money. Like the ticket is still $15 if I go at 10 a.m. or if I go after work. Um, so I usually, but like if I go in the morning, then I usually just go and come out and it's not that big of a deal. Like I don't worry about food and all that stuff. Or
mhm,
if I'm making it like a thing, then I will
yeah.
pick a theater that serves food. So like then we can go and like order beer and then have like actual food in the theater.
So
So we do that a lot.
so I've paid. I think I told you about 2 weeks ago. I signed up for
Oh yeah. You know,
uh
I might have to get that.
15.99 a month for as many cinema tickets as you want. And I can't remember now if I've done two anyway, like
Mhm.
Mario, and I've done Shazam. I think that might be it. I think that might be all I've done so far. But literally, considering it's £10 a ticket or
Yeah.
£11 a ticket, I've definitely saved money already.
Yeah.
Um, and I do want to go and see John Wick 4, which I'm hoping to go and see in the next week or so. So then that'll be another one. So that'll be like 3 cinema tickets. So if 3 cinema tickets,
but then you've got the Marvels later this year. You've got Into the Spider-Verse. You've got, I mean, there's so much other stuff that I also want to see in movies this year.
There's loads coming out this year.
You know, I might have to do that. I totally forgot about that thing. And they had an advertisement like before the movie started, and they were like, for us, it's this particular theater chain, it's like $22 a month. And it's like, well, shit, if I just, if that's 2 movies, like 2 movies, and it pays for itself every month.
I guess if you look ahead and if you think if it's at least 3 movies a month, but then I guess there's probably could be some films that you're like on the fence about, but if you're like, well, actually, I'm already paying for this 22 quid a month anyway, so I may as well go. I may as well go because it's already in my. If it's like, oh, I'm not going to pay for it individually, but actually, I'm paying this monthly fee. Yeah. So I am tempted, like, to go and rewatch Scream. So, because I'd go on my own, and I think because of this, I went and saw Shazam on my own. And I don't normally go on my own, but I couldn't be bothered.
Always go by myself.
No, I couldn't be bothered to ask anyone because I'd heard people weren't enjoying it, but although I liked it, as we said, but I was like, I can't bother with the whole looking around for someone to go with. And actually, I went and booked like an early showing, like 5 or 6 p.m. And do you know, I booked a single seat, and it happened to be that there was all people either side of me. I just walked in, sat down, and I was actually late as well, so I walked in and probably saw like 1 trailer, and this film started. And for me, it was like no one batted an eyelid that I was on my own or anything like that.
No one cares. No one,
because the whole thing was packed anyway. So
no one cares.
So like,
I never, nobody ever like looks at me twice, and I literally go to the movies by myself 99% of the time.
Yeah, I saw Scream with a friend. I'd say the same guy I saw the previous Scream with, and so he was like, yeah, I'll go. He's like, it was fun. Like I don't think he'd seen the previous Screams, but he was like, no. But he said he'd come along, and he went to the last one with me. And then I said to him, did you want to come again? He went, yeah. He's like, I really enjoyed it. He's like, look, it's not the best film in the world, but
but I mean, like in you know, it's, I don't know, within the franchise, Scream 5 was really good, and I have heard great things about this one. I have not seen it yet, but I want to.
Oh, well, when you do your $22 a month,
I know, right?
Maybe when you come back from your holiday, it's probably not worth doing it now. Maybe sign up for June.
Definitely. Definitely hit when June hits. I think I might go ahead and consider that.
When does Scream come out digitally?
It should be out by then. I can just rent it on like Amazon.
And
but I gotta watch it during the day.
It's not that bad.
I gotta watch it during the day. I can't be watching that shit at night, man. Freaks me out.
Hold on, I'll just type it in. Oh, okay. It says it's going to be on Paramount Plus on May 2nd.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So do you have Paramount Plus or not?
Nope.
Have you ever had Paramount Plus?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, they do normally a 7-day trial, so you could do that and then cancel.
I could watch that and Top Gun.
You've seen Top Gun, though.
I know, but I could rewatch Top Gun. It was so good.
Anyway, do you like? So we'll obviously stop the chit chat, and we're going to jump into some news. Like, we haven't covered news for a while because there hasn't really been anything really worth talking about. But
we got
suddenly within the last few days, they just dropped a whole load of stuff on us.
So we're going to kick it off with the Marvels trailer. We finally got a Marvels trailer that shows us, because everybody, I think we were all a bit nervous when it got pushed back because it was supposed to be a summer film, a summer release, and it got pushed back to November. So we'll go ahead and hop right to that. So for those of you watching, you'll see the trailer with us. For those of you listening, you'll get to hear the trailer for the Marvels.
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering the jump point perimeter. I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello? Hello?
Captain Rambo?
My bad. Let me try this again. Dang it. I thought I had it set up this time. All right. All right. Let me see. Oh, maybe this is why. All right. All right, can you see the screen this time?
I can see it. I just can't hear it.
Can you hear it now?
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering
No,
the
you still
jump
can't hear
point
anything?
perimeter. I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello? Hello?
Captain Rambo?
Is this an Avengers test?
Where's Captain Rambo?
What the?
Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And you,
I could totally show you.
not again! Hi.
Where's our daughter?
Wherever you were.
Shields up!
We're a team.
Oh, no, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
It does look really cool. It looks really cool. All right. We were having some technical difficulties. So we don't
We're not going to play the trailer.
Yeah, we don't have the trailer, but we talk about the trailer because it was just so entertaining. And like I love that it literally picks up exactly where Miss Marvel left off. I really enjoyed that show. So I'm super excited about this film. Like I didn't really like I don't know. I was feeling very like about it before, but now that I've seen the trailer, like I'm excited.
We've talked about this before where like you can pick up a movie, we talked about with DC and Marvel where you can pick up some movies and you don't need to be aware of the wider world, like
Right.
the Shazams and the Black Adams and stuff like that, although they have little tributes or Easter eggs. Like this film, you cannot watch it like without watching was it Miss Marvel,
Yeah.
Wonder Vision,
And Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel, but also like Nick Fury, for instance, was it in the second Spider-Man film that they said he was in space,
Mhm.
where he still clearly is in space, and even in the third Spider-Man film, they say Nick Fury's off-world. And he's like, Peter Parker was like, what? Because obviously he didn't realize he'd been dealing with a scroll for the whole previous movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like this picks up off of so many other things.
Yeah.
It
is definitely a continuation. It is not at all a standalone.
But I love the fact that how well we've got, Captain Rambo.
Mhm.
We've obviously got Captain Marvel, and we've got Kamala Khan,
Mhm.
and somehow all their powers are now linked.
Yeah.
So some weird event happens, and they all every time they go to use their powers, they keep swapping over with each other.
Yep.
Which is quite cool. And I love the bond, and it seems like it's going to be quite funny. And they seem to make Captain Marvel slightly more humorous, rather in the last film she was very much alien and serious, and in the Avengers still quite serious. But it seems that they maybe reworked her character a little bit, because I know not everybody has been as keen on the Captain Marvel character as as other characters. But so it seems that they've made her a little bit more likable. I'll be honest
Well,
with
I
you.
think Kamala's going to balance everybody out because she's just so like young and energetic. Like it doesn't matter like obviously what's happening. Like she's just very much like, holy crap, I can't believe I'm here with you guys. Like this is amazing.
Yeah, like, I love that there's a bit in it where she goes, "Oh, so we're a team," and they both snapped her. We're not a team.
No, not a team.
Like, but they clearly are a team.
Yeah.
Like, so, and by the end of it, they clearly will be. I'd love to know what. I know we have to watch the film and we have to wait quite a while, like November.
Yeah.
But I love the fact. Well, I'm hoping that there'll be a follow-on from this already. So,
fingers crossed.
Let's be honest, it's all going to be to do with money. So if it does well, there will definitely be a third one. And
well, when was the last time we had a Marvel film not do well though? The Eternals. Even still, the Eternals still made it a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I think they make money, but not always necessarily a well received always. So the Eternals, I think, was the most bombed in terms of reviews, but financially did really well.
Yeah.
I know the latest Ant-Man one hasn't done as well as they would have liked. So
I don't know why I enjoyed that one though.
The
Eternals, like it was very meh. I just, but I don't think that was like anyway. That's a whole other. We talked about that already. You can go back and listen to our episode on the Eternals. But I'm super excited about the Marvels. I was not before. Now that I have seen the trailer, I am very excited to see what happens. I
watched the trailer 2 or 3 times, and one of the things I love about it was the music. Was it Intergalactic by the Beast Boys? Like well, you reminded me, but yeah, it was. I thought that music went really well with the trailer. So.
Yeah. And with all their personalities, I'm excited now. Looking forward to it. So, all right, that's my second one. I'm definitely still looking forward to.
I think the two, so the 3 films I've got left to look forward to this year, comic book wise, is the Marvels, is the Spider-Verse movie, and whilst I'm not necessarily a fan of the actor, the Flash movie is. I think the Flash movie is going to be brilliant, and it's not because of him; it's because of what they're doing and bringing back Michael Keaton. So, but this trailer, the Marvels, looks fantastic. So.
Yeah, and it just looks so fun. Like I love that we get like lighter stuff. Like we've already had all the heavy stuff with the Infinity Saga, and now it's like, all right, now we get some light, funny stuff. So I think it really kind of follows on well after Ant-Man, because Ant-Man is also like the comic relief in the MCU.
Mm-hmm. I feel like since the latest Spider-Man film, not all of the Marvel stuff has been great. It's been kind of middling. So I think they probably put out too much. So
well, I think they acknowledge that too. So maybe by them slowing it down, it's gonna help everybody out. Like it'll help audiences out. It'll help them out.
Yeah, I think they need to maybe stick to 2 TV shows a year, two movies a year. Just keep it at that.
Well, they're behind so far. We're supposed to be getting a Loki series sometime this summer. I mean, technically we're still in spring, but there has been no word whatsoever on this Loki series, the second season of Loki. So
yeah, like you said though, they acknowledge that they put out too much. I think they realized their quality dipped. I mean, it massively dipped.
I think they just overcompensated for COVID. And it was just kind of like, okay, don't just like throw the whole damn bucket at people. Relax.
Yeah. So, and talking of people throwing the whole bucket, HBO. So,
HBO. Like, is there ever going to be a point where there's no drama at HBO?
Well,
like it's always something with them, right?
So there's been a lot of news back and forth about how they've been trying to leverage Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson to come back and do a 8th film, The Cursed Child. And their leverage was, if you're not going to do, this is obviously a lot of speculation, in this. Their leverage was, if you don't come back, do it, we're going to do a TV show. And it would seem that they're not going to do it. So
good for them.
They've announced that there will be a TV series of Harry Potter on HBOMax, which is going to be 7 seasons, 1 season per book. Completely unnecessary, in my opinion, but there we go. So it's the way.
Why are you remaking the film? Like,
It's a perfect franchise as it is. Why remake it? You've already got your Fantastic Beasts, which is a prequel to that movie franchise,
right?
And so why not do the Cursed Child, but with older actors, because it's meant to be
Yeah,
as adults
exactly.
anyway. Like, I know that they got Daniel Radcliffe and Emma Watson and
Rupert Grint.
to come back and play older versions in the final scene, but no one will care. Like, if you
No,
just go and
if they went and did
recast.
the Cursed Child, no one is going to throw a hissy fit if they recast everyone to be in
Yeah.
the Cursed Child. Like,
Yeah.
that would make the most amount of sense. Plus, you're giving a whole new cast a new opportunity to jump into this world,
Mhm.
and instead of following in the footsteps of someone else, like you give people the opportunity to play something different, so to speak. Since Cursed Child all takes place, and it's about their kids, like, so I don't know. That just it doesn't make sense to me that they would redo the books already, like,
Mhm.
especially when Harry Potter is still so massively popular. Like, you guys are doing what Spider-Man did. Like, we don't need a new Spider-Man franchise every 6 years. We just
I mean,
don't.
if they're going to do this TV series, they could have waited for a whole generation. Like, they could have waited, when
Another
Harry Potter.
15 years.
Yeah, well, I think when the first Harry Potter came out, I think I was like 20, 21, so roughly 20-ish years ago. And they were obviously on the Fantastic Beasts, which is a prequel. So roughly over the last 20 years, we've had that version of that cinematic universe version of all those things. I would have been more than happy if they waited another 20 years before they did a reboot. So they should have done the Cursed Child, followed that on,
Right.
let things go. But the trouble, obviously, it's what it always is. It's money, isn't it? So,
but the Cursed Child, that still would have been a good story to tell over an extended period of time. Like, that would be a really good TV series because there's so much time difference and back and forth, and like the fact that they're redoing the books, that makes no sense to me. Like, that just screams money grab.
Oh, completely money grab. Like, it's gonna. I assume it'll probably be done well.
Yeah.
They'll probably do Game of Thrones-esque style TV show. But no, not in terms of gore or any of that stuff. No. What I mean is in terms of quality. Like,
okay, yeah, budget, like a Game of Thrones budget. Yes.
Yeah, Game of Thrones budget. Yeah, not Game. No, not Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Anything else?
What the hell kind of Hogwarts is this, Mark?
Like, I meant like budget wise. I think you'll see high level. I don't think it's going to be like Amazon's Lord of the Rings. I think it's going to be very much, like I say, Game of Thrones budget, and it's going to probably look really high quality. I think HBOMax will throw everything at this because they want people to be signing up to this app. Like, that's what it's all about, isn't it? They want they want the numbers on the app, don't they? So,
by the way, HBO announced that they are no longer going to be calling themselves HBO Max. It's just going to be Max by the end of the year.
Okay. Well, they want the subscribers, don't they? But I mean, I guess you have to just keep getting into a deficit to keep getting those.
Well, I mean, you have to have a plan. And like, if you look at Disney Plus for an example, like Disney Plus, when it started, they knew that their streaming platform would not be profitable for the first 5 years. They knew that. They knew that when they started it. They knew that when they did all of the content for it. They knew that it wasn't going to turn a profit for some time, but they still kept putting their money into it. Whereas it's like, I feel like HBO, they all sat down in a room at a board table and they were like, we're HBO. We're just going to make money like that. Like, everybody's going to know exactly who we are and we don't have to do any work. And it's like, that is not how this works, HBO.
Oh, they were clever as well, like Disney Plus. They Disney, before they created Disney Plus, they knew they didn't have enough of their own content out of an adult level, because obviously Disney had been predominantly a family orientated company. So they went and bought Fox because they knew that Fox had a crap load of entertainment, and so they bought all of The Simpsons, everything that went, Aliens, Predator, everything that went along with it, and they were going to have to change their models slightly to fit. So they did, and then when they opened up initially, Disney Plus actually had no original content. Like, when you first subscribed to it,
of course,
this is kind of dull. There's like this,
but they asked people to be patient with them. They laid out, we don't have it now, but here is what we're projecting for the next year. Like, within a year, you can expect to see this, this, and this, right? Like, WandaVision was the first thing that we got in the Marvel realm on Disney Plus, and it turned out to be like a huge hit for them, right? Like, They told you up front, we're doing this streaming service. We don't have anything new yet, but it's coming, and here's when you can expect it. Whereas with HBO, they're like, oh, well, everybody and their mom has a streaming service, so we should just do one too. Like, I just like there's no, it just doesn't feel like the organization is there.
No. One more thing I'll say, and then we'll move on. But I've seen this meme. Like, do you remember Captain Planet?
Yes.
So, you know, like when our powers combine, like
Yes.
whatever. I've seen this meme of like all the different ring holders. Like one says HBO, one says Disney Plus, whatever. Like one says Amazon, one says Paramount Plus. And they're like, when our services combine, we are the same price as cable.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing, right? Like people pay, like that was the whole problem. Like, oh, my cable bill is $180 a month. Okay, yeah, but like if you get Netflix and Disney Plus and Paramount and Apple and all, like you're gonna still come out at $180 a month. But now you just have 17 different things you have to log into.
In the end, they're gonna have to all just team up, and you'll just have one app again. And
somebody's gonna find a way to make that work. It's coming. And it would be hella funny if they called it Cable 2.0.
In the end, it's going to be like, look, I'm not paying for all of you guys. You guys are just going to have to go and talk to each other and figure it out, because I'm not paying for it. I know that is the truth. I'm not even paying for it now. Like I actually cancelled Disney. At some point I'll probably resubscribe or whatever. But I realized that nobody in the house was watching it. So I was like, why am I paying for this? So
you guys are busy playing games lately.
Well, probably that. But also mainly it's Netflix just seems to be used. So and Amazon. So Amazon not even that much, but Amazon you get the free postage. So that's literally the main reason why people have Prime. But people don't even watch it. If there was a cheaper option for Prime where I could just have the free postage, I would do that, because I don't even think we'd really watch Prime that much. Netflix does tend to be used more, or just my own collection of like Blu-rays or whatever. So or just normal TV. So we still have normal TV. So or the cinema.
Yeah. Lately.
Anyway, Harry Potter TV show, in summary.
What's the point?
Stupid idea. Yeah, just leave it.
What is the point?
I'd be more, like I say, in summary, I'd be more than happy if 20 years from now they wanted to relaunch it. Fair enough. Do you know what I think they'll do? They'll do this TV series, and I think they'll still do the Cursed Child, but they'll leave it a few years and just get in some new actors, because they'll still want to make the Cursed Child as a film, because they'll still want the money. So
of course.
You'll get this TV show. They just obviously throwing their toys out the pram. Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, they won't come back because they're quite big names. So they're like, okay, we'll make a TV show then. And, let's be honest, they're probably going to make this TV show anyway. So because they want the cash.
Yeah, but again, it could have come like in another 10 years. It didn't have to be now.
Well, yeah. So right. So the last sort of big news was Star Wars related. So
lots of Star Wars news at that event that they had.
Yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars news. I won't go through it all, just kind of bullet point it. So Daisy Ridley is going to return as Rey in a new trilogy of movies. It'll be directed by Sharman Obaid Sinoy, I think. I think that's how you pronounce that name. Anyway, so this is going to be set 15 years after the last movie, and she's going to be creating a new Jedi Order. I don't know that much more about it. I don't think they've really said that much more about it. However, their project is aiming for a December 2025 release date. So
that's not that far off.
No, it's not that far away.
That means they're going to have to start production this year.
I would like to think that there'll be hopefully some lessons learned, and hopefully we'll have a better structured trilogy. One director, hopefully. So
fingers crossed. If they can nail the villain, they'll be fine. That's been the problem with the subsequent films. Like, you have to have a good villain to hold up a trilogy. Doesn't matter how great the hero is, you need a good villain. I
think also you just need one vision, one leadership. So yeah, one kind of writer's room. One. I know not necessarily. I know movies tend to be written by one or two people, but you need to just have, clear voices throughout.
Yeah.
So
And also, like, don't cave to fan pressure, because some of these Star Wars fans are extreme in their love of the franchise, but they don't run it, and you, as the people in charge, need to understand that.
I think the last trilogy, it was like we had the Force Awakens, which was actually a solid film. Then you had the second film, which ignored all of the first film, and then you had the third film, which actually ignored all of the second film, but acknowledged the first film, and it was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So, like, it's just...
The two hands, they need to talk
Yeah.
to each other.
Yeah.
Y'all need to be friends.
It's like they let somebody from HBO come over and run Star Wars.
They might have. They
Yeah,
might have.
Maybe that's what happened.
Just someone bringing the chaos.
Yeah. We just print money because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
People,
That's the same thing with
people
Harry Potter.
people just lap it up. Anyway, so they've also announced another film. So it's going to be it will focus on the first Jedi to ever exist. It's going to be directed by James Mangold, and yeah, I mean, I don't really know that much about Star Wars lore. I'm not massively in Star Wars. I enjoy all of the content that's put out. I'll watch it, but I don't read all the books.
But you're not about to sit up on someone's comments and like argue over 1,000 years of Jedi history.
I don't know much about the Old Republic and all the rest of it, but anyway, so it's apparently going to be taking place before the Old Republic, etc. So I don't know that much more about it. You can read online, I'm sure, and dig deep and get really into the nitty gritty of it all. But it sounds quite cool, The First Jedi. What I think appeals to me more about this is that there'll be no Skywalkers, so, and it'd be like new characters, but it'd be Jedis. So
okay.
I mean, maybe you might see a Yoda or something, but it would be a bit like what we've got with House of Dragon. House of Dragon is a Game of Thrones property, which has got a lot
but
of
you
Easter
had the
eggs.
names. You still had Targaryens in that one.
Yeah, I mean, you might see, maybe they might. I don't know if they'll throw in a Skywalker because we didn't get those till the prequels. So I don't know, like I say, but they might throw in other names that maybe we're aware of. So not Skywalkers, but other names. Anyway, like I say, I'm not a Star Wars aficionado or anything like that. I'm not like dressing up in
robes and lightsabers
and I don't even own a lightsaber. So anyway, coming over to the Mando verse, as it seems to have been nicknamed. So we've got several Mando shows now. We've got The Mandalorian.
Yes.
We've got the Book of Boba Fett. What's that new one they've just announced as well? The
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka as well. And apparently they're all going to build up to an Avengers Endgame type movie, and Mando is going to be like a Mandoverse TV movie on Disney Plus. So
interesting.
It's what they've said is the movie will be focused on the war between the Imperial Remnant and the fledgling New Republic. So no further information available on that as well. So,
well, I mean, I think that they have done well with what they've done with The Mandalorian and the orbit of other shows that go around that. So I'd be interested to see, and I've been happy with the TV films that Disney Plus has been putting out. Like, we really enjoyed Werewolf by Night. So
I'll be honest, I haven't watched any animated stuff, but they said there's going to be a second season of Tales of the Jedi, which is an animated anthology. Expected a 2024 release. There's going to be a Bad Batch season 3. The final season will so it's meant to be so it's season 2 only just finished, and it's potentially could land in 2024. So
all of these dates really sound very ambitious, especially when they're behind on all the other content we're supposed to be getting for 2023.
So from all of that, is there anything particularly that you're excited about?
Not really. I've kind of fallen behind. I've only watched the first season of The Mandalorian. I haven't seen any of the other ones. So I'm very, very out of date on the Star Wars side of Disney Plus.
You could whack it all on your phone or your tablet if you. Well, I know you don't have a tablet,
No.
but if you when you go on your plane trip, you could bring it with you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, this time, thankfully, I'm not going too far. So I think my longest leg is only 9 hours, which is about half the time of my normal long flights. So
Well, no, but I mean, 9 hours, you could do the whole of season 2. So
that's only 8 episodes.
I can't remember now. Well, they're not normally that long, are they?
No, they're like 45 minutes or so. So
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll consider it. I'll consider it.
So I have seen all of season 2 of The Mandalorian. I haven't started season 3, which I know is due to finish, because I actually haven't finished the Book of Boba Fett yet, and I haven't even watched Andor. So
Andor. I've heard amazing things about Andor.
Yeah. So why I was hoping to do all of that whilst I've been off the last few weeks, but I haven't.
Vacation gets in the way.
I know. When I have been having time, I've been trying to catch up on the Flash, the CW Flash. So yeah.
So you can watch the final season.
Yeah, because I can watch the final season, which obviously I haven't watched yet either. So I hold on, I'll tell you now. Because I've forgotten the actual.
I was really bummed. Grant Gustin came out and said that he is not in the film. And I was like, way to ruin that for all of us. Thank you. You could have just held on to that, sir.
So I've almost finished season 7. So I've got 1 episode to go for season 7, and then season 7's done. Unfortunately, season 8 is 20 episodes. Somehow I've got to try and do all of that. And season 9 has got 4 weeks left to go. So I've somehow.
So are you really trying to watch all of this so that you don't get spoiled?
Yeah, basically. So
good luck, sir.
I've got 12. I mean, if I've got 21 episodes, or 20 episodes of season 8, 1 episode of season 9, and then obviously I've somehow got to do at the moment 8 episodes of season. So yeah, I've roughly got 30 episodes of The Flash to watch in the next 4 weeks. So
all right, have fun.
Yeah.
Well, you'll have some time in May too.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, Star Wars, of that, I think whilst I've got a lot of catching up to do, of that stuff I've heard sounds pretty cool is the fact the Rey trilogy I think will be pretty cool. Like the fact they have the fact that she actually is coming back, and we'll get a chance to delve more into her background, hopefully, with obviously the revelation of her origin, which was only found out at the end of the last movie. So to find out what she did with the fact that she took the Skywalker name, even despite her personal baggage and her personal history, which they hung over the mystery of who her parentage was for that previous trilogy. And then obviously we get the origin of that we get the answer to all of that right at the very end. So you don't really get much time to find out what she had to do with that. So I'm hoping that I don't want to spend a trilogy going over that, but hopefully in the first movie we'll get to find out how she dealt with that. That's quite a big thing to learn, that you're sort of the daughter of one of the biggest villains in the whole Star Wars franchise. That's pretty big. Pretty big news, though, isn't it? Well, I guess it's a bit like Scream, isn't it? Where they found out that they're the daughter of the original killers.
Oh, Billy, yeah,
Billy. Billy obviously is the one who started the whole thing. So to find out that you're the child of one of the biggest villains in a franchise, and what you do, in a way, Scream and Star Wars have done something very similar. So.
Oh my gosh, we should totally have an episode about that.
Well, when you watch it, maybe we will. So
I know. Okay. Noted. Anyway. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be on my flight, and I can watch it on the flight.
Yeah, that would be good, actually. I wonder if it is. You can Google ahead and see what's on your flight.
Oh yeah, I should check.
I always do. I always check on flights to see what's on the flight. Anyway, we'll stop talking about news, and you're gonna recap.
Here we go. So last week we did the 1993 film Super Mario Brothers the movie, which still cult classic. It bombed in theaters. It did not make its money back. It was panned by the critics. It was even panned by the fans. It was just an all around failure. But as a kid watching that movie in 1993, I flippin' loved it. So that film, we still get our Brooklyn plumbers that get sucked into this alternate universe, and then they have to go and save a princess, and they got to fight Koopas, and it's a lot of the same, honestly. When I was watching this new Mario film, I was like, they didn't really deviate that far from the movie that we got in 93. There were quite a few plot points that remained the same. So just to remind you of where we got this from. So Nintendo, 1983, the arcade game of the Super Mario Brothers was the first iteration of this from Nintendo. It was designed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Junpei Yokoi, and got some fun facts later about Shigeru Miyamoto and how this particular film came to be. But before we get there, let's introduce you to Super Mario Brothers movie.
So the Super Mario Brothers 2023. It was written by Matthew Fogel, directed by Aaron Horath, and Michael
Yelenic.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. So right. Anyway, it's based off Super Mario Brothers by Nintendo.
It stars Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Day, Jack Black, Keegan-Michael Key, Seth Rogen, and Fred Armisen.
It did debut fairly recently. It came out on the 5th of April 2023. It has a running time of 92 minutes. It has a budget of $100 million.
That's lower than I thought it would be.
I know, a lot lower than I thought it would be as well.
Yeah, I thought this was a $200 million movie.
I wonder if, not that I know, just a complete guess here, I wonder if they linked some of their salaries to profit rather than upfront.
For a franchise like this, I would.
Yeah.
I would take less money upfront for the royalties on the back end. 100%.
So I think probably of that cast, Chris Pratt probably took the biggest salary. Jack Black probably the second biggest salary. Anya Taylor-Joy maybe then her. So, but then the rest of them are not as big.
Yeah.
So, right. Anyway, so far, box office has taken 434.5 million at the time of recording, which is 14th of April. So,
that means we're getting a sequel.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, 100%. So
Yeah.
before we go any further, I've seen so many like fake screenshot things. I don't know if you've seen them. So when Marvel do their Hall H, when they show their timelines, phase 1, phase 5, whatever, and they show the timeline of all the movies and the TV shows that are coming out. I've seen so many fake ones of Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers 2, Kirby, Donkey Kong, all this kind of stuff, and then leading up to the end game style movie, which is Super Smash Bros. Like, a sort of
yes.
And honestly, they would be missing a trick if they didn't start doing a shared universe off the back.
Man, if we eventually, like in the next 5 or 6 years, get a Super Smash Brothers, come on, man. That just brings in so many different characters, like from all over the video game universe. I just think that would be hilarious.
Oh, it'd be brilliant. Like those people that have been doing that, Disney will probably be thinking something similar. Nintendo probably thinking something similar like that. Yeah, the money this has generated, 400, within 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
400 million.
This thing is I think it's gonna creep up pretty close to the $1 billion.
I think if you could think about it as well, like how much merchandise.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So,
yeah. I would love to see what kind of numbers, like what kind of boost in numbers Nintendo has had.
Also affects on probably how many the gaming sales. I'd love to see what the links on gaming sales has been. That would definitely they would have sold games off the back of this.
Yes.
They're not going to have sold maybe that many. They're not going to have sold $300 million worth of games, but even if they saw 100 million increase over the last few weeks or whatever, and including merchandise, or that's another of the effect of that. Like, and obviously behind me there, which I showed last week, I bought the Mario.
Yeah, you bought into the merchandise machine.
£23 that was.
Yeah.
Like that's a crazy amount of money. Some of the prices as well for some of the tiniest, like the Princess Peach motorbike, I think it was like, I can't remember how much it was now. It's like £18 or something with the figure. And it just looks like real cheap plastic. I'm be
Yeah.
honest, it doesn't look high quality. It doesn't look like £18 worth of product.
Yeah.
And even that £23, that is not £23 worth.
Yeah,
of
but you said the Toad one looked really good.
The Toad one does look good. I would like the Toad one. I'm not paying any more money. Like,
Yeah.
I only paid £3 for that from my actual own money though. So
Right, because you had a voucher.
I had a £20 voucher. So
Mhm.
if I didn't have a voucher, that wouldn't be there. I'm not paying. So I was not paying 23 quid. I went into the shop the other day, actually, after we saw the film, and I saw them all, and I was slightly tempted again. But I was like, do you know what? Wait till the movie dies down. All of those figures will be half price. There was loads on the shelf. So I don't know how much they're going to sell because I think they are overpriced. So, but again, it all adds to the income.
Of course. Of course.
That would have been made for next to nothing. So,
oh, yeah. Duh. Yeah, because they mass produce them.
Yeah.
Of course.
Also, it's just plastic in a box. So,
yeah.
But anyway, right. So
all right, so we got some fun facts. So I thought it was pretty funny that the 1993 film was distributed by Buena Vista Pictures, which is House of Mouse at this point. And the 2023 film is from Illumination, which is the parent company of Illumination is NBC Universal. And Disney wanted to get deeper into this like digital animation trend that was happening in the early 2000s, and they paid a measly $7.4 billion to buy Pixar back in 2006. And in January of 2007 is when Illumination Entertainment was born. And so I think I thought that was very interesting, that Illumination kind of came out of the aftermath of Disney buying Pixar. So after the big failure of the 1993 film, if you go back and listen to the episode from last week, Nintendo at the time was so secure with how well Mario was doing that they did not care. Like they would license Mario to anyone who asked them for a license. And so they had no creative input whatsoever for the 1993 film. But because the 1993 film did so bad, it left a really poor taste in their mouth. And so for the longest time, they were like, yeah, we're not doing the movie rights again. Like, we'll license out Mario for games and merchandise and that kind of thing, but we're not giving out movie rights anymore. But then Shigeru Miyamoto, who's one of the creators of the whole Super Mario world, was working with Universal Parks on their Super Nintendo world. The parks that there's one in Tokyo, there's one in, is it Orlando or LA? They're in the Universal Parks. So working with Universal, that is how Nintendo and Illumination met. So in 2016, Miyamoto and his name is Chris Melandri, who's the founder of Illumination Entertainment. They met and they started talking. And because the process of building this Mario Park was going so well, Miyamoto was kind of like, you know what? Maybe it's time to think about doing a movie again. And Melandri was like, yep, let me talk to you about doing a Mario movie. And let me tell you about you doing it with my animation studio. So they talked for a couple of years. And finally in 2018, Nintendo announced this film, very, very early versions of this film. So this has been in the works for quite some time. So yeah, 2018 is when it became official. And I have a feeling that very soon we are going to start hearing about sequels. And then the last fun fact I have about this film. So in the games, Mario and Luigi are voiced by the same character or the same actor, Charles Martinet. And he does have an appearance in this film as Mario and Luigi's father. And I thought that was really cute. He also plays, if you've seen the film, there is one character that always does a little Mario, like one arm in the air, one leg up jump. And he also voices that character, who he literally looks like he walked right out of like one of the Mario games. So yes, if you listen carefully enough, you will hear original Mario in this film.
I did not know that was his voice at all. Like, but it kind of disappoints me more thinking, why didn't he just voice Mario.
I mean, so they addressed that really early in the film, which I appreciate them just like putting it out there and getting it out of the way. So then it does not become an issue for the rest of the film. And the way they kind of go about that is Mario and Luigi have left their employer to start their own plumbing business. And they make a commercial. And in the commercial, they really, really, really play up their Italian Americanness. And they both put on these fake, heavy, thick, like Italian accents. And so after the commercial plays, the two brothers kind of look at each other and Mario is like, do you think the accents were too much? And it's kind of like, oh, okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Like, because it kind of was very toned down, like their accents. Yeah, that was the one thing. Yeah, that's probably my major criticism. Anyway, summary. So I'll talk about the summary. So summary from IMDb is pretty straightforward. The story of the Super Mario Brothers on their journey through the Mushroom Kingdom. So there's a lot more to it than that, though. However, and do you know what? It was like they got the plot from the 90s and remixed it, very Force Awakens, and did it all over again, just animated.
And a little bit better.
Yeah, and a little bit better. Look, you know, we both loved the 90s movie.
Yeah.
And I think we'll talk about our thoughts on the animated film, but having watched it, well, actually, we'll summarize our thoughts now. Actually, good part to go. I'll tell you, I'll go and you go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. I watched it. I went with my family, saw it on Tuesday. We all loved it. We thought it was great. And so taking my children, especially my youngest, who's 9, to sit through a whole film, she gets quite irritated after a while. Like, to get her to be glued to the screen and not kind of start to wander around or tell me she's bored or anything like that. We got there in plenty of time, had quite a few trailers, I'd like to say. And when you'll be pleased to hear this, Jasmine, when the Spider-Verse trailer came on for the sequel, she was so excited.
Good. So was I.
Yeah, and she was just like, I want to see it now. I was like, and I was like, it's June. You've got to wait till June, which isn't too far, but you know, June. And anyway, so she was like, okay, like, and anyway, she was loving that movie, loved the whole movie of Super Mario Brothers. So did my oldest one, who's 13. She really enjoyed it. All of us walked out singing "Peaches, Peaches, Peaches," like all for it. My wife loved it. I don't think she loved it as much as the three of us did, but we've been a lot more into Mario as a family.
I was going to say, but you guys play the game a lot together.
Well, we have, pre-Christmas, PlayStation only, had no Nintendo in this house. Been wanting a Switch for years. Finally got one for Christmas. We've been playing. I mean, I've completed the main or the bulk of Super Mario Odyssey. We've been playing Mario Kart, which actually we did play on the Tuesday that we went and saw the film as well. And we played it a bit yesterday too. We've absolutely been sort of really getting into the whole Mario world. And I think in some ways that was really cool to do that before we saw this film. To kind of get you in that kind of mindset. So all of us as a family really loved it. It's a really good family film. And I think it plays well to adults and children. So for me, what I loved is how well they incorporated a storyline. And there is a story in there, as well as mixing so many nods and gaming references, and almost making the gaming world, kind of part of their world, like just the power-ups. Even when they made their own carts, how they had 3 different things, which is literally what you do in Mario Kart. There was so much about the gaming world that was brought in, and so many little nods and characters, like Diddy Kong was in there, and it was. But when I did watch it, I'll be honest with you, I did think they literally have taken the 90s movie. They've got the same plot pretty much. It is so similar.
Very.
I mean, there's differences. Don't get me wrong. Like Cooper being obsessed with Princess Peach and wanted to marry her and all the rest of it. But rather than before, he wanted to invade. In the previous film, he wanted to invade Earth. But then, right at the very end of this movie, when Cooper and all of them lot end up on Earth, that literally happens in the previous film as well. Like, it's like they watched the last film
Yeah.
and took the script and made some alterations to it.
Yes, and then they just put more video game elements into it.
Yeah. Like, and
Yeah.
also this time around they made it that Mario and the princess rather than Luigi and the princess. So,
Yeah.
which was suitable for that film. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. My whole family really enjoyed it. I think they played out really well. So yeah, it was good. What about yourself?
I enjoyed it, and so I went right after work. It was like 5:30 in the evening. I was literally the only person in the theater. But there were so many moments where I laughed out loud. And like normally I don't always laugh out loud. Like I'll think things are funny, but I don't always laugh out loud. But like there were some laugh out loud moments in this film. And it was just a good time. Like as soon as it started, it's just so bright and colorful, and like all of the characters, the way that they're animated, they're so expressive. And it was just like it just sucked you into this world like right away. And I just really kind of lost track of time. Like I didn't feel the length of the film. I didn't get bored. I wasn't looking at my watch like, oh, when is this over? I just enjoyed what they gave me, right? Like I took everything at face value. It was fun to see the Mario Karts. Like everything on the Rainbow Bridge was a lot of fun. There was one sequence at the very beginning when Mario and Luigi are headed to their first job, and it's literally just like that platformer experience where the screen is constantly moving and Mario is jumping and hitting things and knocking things over and making a way for Luigi to follow behind. Like it very much feels like when they made this film, they really were cognizant of how much of the video game can we put into the film. And just like every chance for like mood music, somebody is playing music from the games. Like there's one point where someone is playing a saxophone, but it is music from the dungeon in the game. Like, or when they go underwater and then suddenly the music changes to like when you're in the underwater scenes in Super Mario. Like the detailing that they put in here that is directly from the games is what the adults hooked onto, I'm sure, because that is definitely what I hooked onto. Like every time you heard the music, I was just like, I know that level. Oh my God, I know that level. I know that music. Like it was so nostalgic to watch this film because it really did feel more like the video game than the first film.
Oh, 100%. There was so many, I think, like you say, for adults, there were so many like
Mhm.
nods to the games.
Yeah.
Where for my children, it played out like just a
I imagine kids would have
film.
really loved the Mario Kart sequence. Like that's what I
Mhm.
imagine a kid's favorite scene would have been in this film.
Oh, yeah. It was. I think they really loved the music as well. They, like my kids especially, they walked out, like I say, singing.
Yeah.
The music, that Peaches track, like
Leave it to Jack Black.
like honestly, I didn't know Jack Black was in this until about 2 days before this film.
Mhm.
So I knew Chris Pratt was in it because he was so heavily criticized for being Mario. But anyway, of the characters, we've got the main characters that were all from people. These characters have been alive for over 40 plus years. They are almost as big as the Disney characters now. And the fact that Universal have even created
A theme park.
theme parks, and we've got two now, and I think a third on the way. These are huge iconic characters that we're all aware of. Mario, Luigi, the princess, Koopa, obviously Donkey Kong. I never really associate Donkey Kong and Mario as being in the same world, but
Me neither.
like,
But I mean,
it's Disney, and we've got Smash Brothers, so they kind of they're all Nintendo world characters.
Yeah.
And I think they did so well incorporating all of these different characters in a way that, I'll be honest, feels like natural. So
Yeah.
And also we've got additional characters, and I don't know if in the games, because I'm not knowledgeable on Donkey Kong at all, but I don't know if I know there is Diddy Kong in the games, but I don't know if he ever had his father in the games. I thought they did well in creating new characters like Donkey Kong's dad, if he is new, as far as I'm aware he is, and also like Mario and Luigi's parents and their whole family, and I quite liked those scenes as well with the sort of the family meals and
the
things
grandpa
like
trying to eat.
yeah. So obviously there's a lot of characters in there, but any character for yourself that stands out as your favorite?
Oh yeah, Toad. Toad was my favorite. He was just like, he was so cute and energetic and just like, nope, I have decided that I am going to do what I can to protect the princess and I'm not leaving you. So I'm not going to evacuate. I really enjoyed Toad. He was a lot of fun.
When we left the cinema, I can't remember what my youngest daughter said, but I only remember what my oldest daughter said because it made me laugh. Her favorite character was the little blue star thing. That was
Oh my God, the most depressing prisoner in in all of those cages.
Like, oh, the only way out is the sweet release of death.
Yeah, so funny that the character is voiced by the director's daughter, one of the director's daughters. Yeah.
I don't know if that character's from a game or not, but
I don't either. But like, can you imagine? Talk about Debbie Downer. Like when Bowser was like, "We're gonna sacrifice the prisoners in your honor," and the flame is like, "Yay!"
Like that character was hilarious.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, my favorite character was the princess. So
okay, yeah.
I like the fact that if you think about all of those games, it's pretty much is very similar. I know there is a Princess Peach game on the DS where she's kind of saving, she's on the adventure.
Mm-hmm.
But most of those games include, from the very first Mario all the way to Mario Odyssey, the princess is getting captured and Mario has to save the day. What I liked about this one was that the princess didn't get captured. Well, she did at the very end. She did give herself up at the very end. But most of this movie,
but she was not a damsel in distress.
No, she was not a damsel in distress. And I think Anya played her voice well.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that she's a little bit more action orientated.
Yes.
And there's some, and they didn't actually resolve. They didn't resolve it, did they? Like they showed her origin. They sort of said they
hinted.
Came through the pipe. They showed it came through the pipe as a baby, but other than that, we don't know much about it. So there you go. If there's a sequel, any money, that's a something to find out. But I love the fact that I love the fact that we don't find out much about her origin, and actually how she kind of, I don't know. She's like an action girl in this film.
She's a badass. She's got the cool bike, she's got the move, she knows how to fight, she knows how to rally the troops. It seems like she's a pretty good leader. Like everybody in the Mushroom Kingdom seems to love and trust her judgment being the princess. So that was nice to see.
Yeah, 100%. I think she was like my favorite character, not the damsel in distress, very much the leader, I would say.
And just the way that like her and Toad interacted, like at the very end when he hands her the bouquet and he was like, "Can't get married without a bouquet." And I was like, why are they being so casual? And then I was like, oh, they're plotting. Yeah. They are plotting something.
I love the fact that she used the power-ups as well.
Yes.
I love the fact as well that they bring those power-ups in, I have to say. So.
Oh my God. Listen, at the very end, the whole end sequence where they're fighting in the streets of Brooklyn and like Mario and Luigi have the star. Every single time I got that damn star in the games, I felt exactly like they felt in the film. Like I felt like I'm invincible. I am going to kill everything. This is amazing. I love that star power-up.
Yeah, the star, I think Sonic as well is something similar where it's all the various it's loads of stars, isn't it? But yeah, getting the star power up is always like brilliant. It's like I'm just gonna run
like hell. Yeah.
So anyway, the structure of this movie, I think we've kind of hinted at it a little bit or a lot as we've been chatting. So it's very simple premise.
Yes.
Plumbers in Brooklyn, and again, similar to the 90s film, have another plumber rival. They have another plumber rival. They're kind of not, whilst they don't say in the 90s film why they're not doing as well, other than the fact that it's this other rival company. In this one, they have a bit more origin around it, that they're new to the game. So they're new to the game and they spent all their money on their commercial and they don't have a lot of money, etc. So you get some more context here, but they create a bigger corporate rival who they're going up against, and then they want to save the day. So they go down and they end up getting basically trying to fix a pipe and end up getting sucked into Brooklyn. Into the Mushroom Kingdom. Well, actually, Mario does. Luigi ends up in something
the Darklands.
Yeah, do you know what? I've never played Luigi's Mansion. Have you heard of Luigi's Mansion?
Yes, I've never played it either.
But it made me think, I wonder if that's what that is like.
Yeah, I bet. Also, whenever I played the games, I always played as Luigi, even if I was playing by myself. Always. I was always Luigi.
He can do like in one of the games he can kind of jump a lot higher.
I don't remember.
I was playing I was playing on my Game Boy Advance the other day, and and on Mario Advance, if you choose Luigi, he can jump a little bit higher, which I didn't know.
That's cool.
So, and it says each one of them has special abilities, and his one is that he's got more stars next to jumping.
Okay,
so I thought,
okay.
oh, I'll give that a go, and he kind of does this sort of flutter as he jumps in the air. So
nice.
But I thought it was good between the two, Mario and Luigi, that Luigi kind of wasn't sidelined. It felt like Mario clearly had more screen time.
Yeah.
But I did feel kind of nicely balanced between the two. But yeah, in terms of structure, obviously they end up in this kind of fictional world, and then before that happens though, Cooper's already decided that he's going to start conquering everywhere. And as the movie goes, it shows up that Cooper actually, his main motivation is that he wants to marry the princess.
Yeah.
I mean, why he couldn't have just gone about this some other way. So like rather than conquering everywhere. However, that's what's happened. And Mario lands in the Mushroom Kingdom. Luigi's in some horrible pit, which is run by Cooper. And Mario ends up teaming up with Princess Peach, getting trained so he can help save the day. And it all kind of ends up in a battle at the end. And it goes over to Brooklyn and then back over to Earth again. And like I say, very similar. And however,
similar.
The biggest difference with this is that when it ends, that Mario and Luigi are actually in the Mushroom Kingdom rather than back on Earth. So
yeah, so like it's like they live there, but then they portal back to Brooklyn.
Yeah, so it's kind of yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Like
yeah.
So but it was a good little thing. So you see them wake up and get their stuff together, like their belts and stuff.
Yep.
And you think, oh, okay, they're just going to walk out to their van, but they walk out and they jump through the tunnel. So, but why not? Like, I'll be honest with you, if I had a magic pool,
I would rather live in the Mushroom Kingdom than here.
Oh yeah. If there was any way to live in the Mushroom Kingdom where they probably don't get taxed, and they can punch boxes where coins continuously come out.
Yes.
I think I'd go live over there too. So
yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah. And just imagine like getting those power-ups where I can flick fire.
I know. Stuff. Or yeah. Oh man, the fireball. That's always my favorite power-up. Fireballs.
Or the cat. So like, so anyway, have you got any thoughts on the writing, the structure, etc.?
I think the structure again very similar to the 93 film, and I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, or if that just was the only way that they thought that they could bridge these two worlds. So I thought it was super interesting that it really, like, if you pull apart the frill, it really is a very similar film, like in the bones. So it felt really familiar to watch this film. As far as the writing goes, I think it's done well. Like there is a really good balance of humor that is like all ages humor versus the humor that the parents in the audience or the adults in the audience are going to get, and maybe not the kids as much. But I think that's a balance that animated films have to do regardless of what the film is, right? Like it's the same with Shrek and with Despicable Me and with Toy Story. Like there are definitely jokes in there that go way above the kids' heads, but that's because you still need to appeal to the parents that are bringing the kids to the film. So that said, though, it doesn't feel like, it feels like a family film. Like it doesn't necessarily feel like a kid's film. But at the same time, it does not feel like too advanced for kids to pick up on. So I thought that they walked that line pretty well between being able to appeal to kids, but also being entertaining for adults. And I think the writing kind of goes along with that. Like we get the silly things like Jack Black singing his Peaches song like on the piano. but like it just I don't know, I enjoyed it. And like because they were so meticulous about putting these video game elements into the film, that's what made it so fun for me. Like I said, I know a lot of kids probably really enjoyed the Mario Kart stuff because that's probably what kids play a lot more of. But for me, like seeing the boxes and watching them hit the box and then a mushroom pops out and then it's like, oh, it's a red one. I know what happens when you eat the red one. Oh, it's a blue one. Don't eat the blue one. I know what happens when you eat the blue one. Like it just I don't know, it just like made me feel like I was playing the games again. Like so it was really fun to see that, even though like it doesn't, I know they worked really hard to like write those in to make sense. But at that point, when I'm looking at it on screen, all I can think to myself is like, oh my God, this is like the biggest screen ever to play Super Mario World on. Like this is just so much fun. And it just immediately takes me back to playing the game and enjoying myself playing the game. So I feel like I spent a lot of this film sitting in that theater, just kind of smiling. Like it was basically like a 90-minute trip down memory lane.
Oh yeah, honestly, like you, I agree. This is really well. I didn't. So I think I said this in the previous episode. We were a Sega household and then a PlayStation household, and I've never had Nintendo in the house until literally 4 months ago. So I didn't grow up with the same. I had a Game Boy. Sorry, I had a Game Boy. I had an original Game Boy and I had Super Mario Land, and I had a Game Boy Advance, though I can't remember the games on it. And I did on the original Game Boy. I did have Donkey Kong, the yellow cartridge of Donkey Kong. So I did have those. That was my Nintendo. I did have the handheld element, but as a console basis, not as much. And I wasn't. I think my brother had the N64 and he played Mario 64, which I saw. But like I say, my connection to those those games is not as strong as a lot of others. So it's weird to me that, and I didn't even do it deliberately, that since Christmas till even like a few days ago, Mario Odyssey, and I've been playing Super Mario on the DS, the new Super Mario Brothers game, and I kind of just all I've been doing the last few months is playing Super Mario Brothers. So for me then to go in to this movie, like I honestly put my hands up. I did not plan any of this. When I got that Switch and the DS and all the rest of it, I was not thinking, oh, this movie's coming out. I want to get myself in the right headspace, because you don't need to get yourself in the headspace. But how cool it was to the last few months been playing like Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Bros. On DS, and even like say the Game Boy the other day, the Advanced, playing a little bit on the Advanced, and I actually did get that last week. I got that before I saw the film. And I tell you what, Facebook Marketplace. So I'm always trying to find the bargain. I don't want to pay any high prices. So to play all of that and then watch this movie and just so I didn't know this without playing the game. It was on the DS. When Mario is fighting Donkey Kong and he gets the blue mushroom, straight away I was like, I know that one. That one shrinks him down. Straight away. So I was like, that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So when Mario doesn't know that the blue one shrinks him down, and I was like, I know what the blue one does. I was like, here we go. Here we go. And I was like, when I saw all these little different power-ups, it was cool to me that I've used them with Mario.
Yes.
So
like the banana peel on the track. Like, come on.
I love the fact they throw the banana peel back.
Yes.
There's so many like nods.
And that's the thing. Like when we were watching the other film last week, that was my beef with it. Like I wish that film had more video game elements in it.
Yeah.
And I think I got exactly what I wanted with this film. Like exactly what I wanted.
I think that they did so well in putting it together. And I think we sort of asked this question and stuff like, would you cut anything? No, I wouldn't. I think they did it well.
I think the only scene that I would probably cut out is the scene with the dog.
Yeah, the dog was a bit silly.
Yeah, I mean, but they had to establish like that. Obviously, they're terrible plumbers. Like, well, they're good plumbers, but like they're not great at running a business. So I get why they put it in there, but that was the one scene where I was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, actually, the dog thing was a bit, like, I don't think it needed to be anywhere as bad as it did.
Right.
So,
right.
And it was kind of annoying for me. I actually liked the fact that they did a good job, and then suddenly the dog shows up. And the moment the dog shows up, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going to be. Yeah, actually, I do agree that it was kind of like real slapstick. And I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So,
It was
yeah.
it felt out of place, which says a lot in a film about a video game. Like, but it did feel a bit out of place. So,
I think
but that's my
because
only beef. Like, I like the rest.
yeah, no, I agree with you. That was fairly good. But did you have any favorite scenes?
Favorite scenes.
Favorite moments, like rather than scene.
I think honestly, so I would say two. When at the end, when Princess Peach takes the bouquet and shakes the flowers off, and she uses that frozen flower and gets that power up. I loved that sequence. But at the beginning of the film, when Bowser's like army is rocking up to the Penguin Kingdom, and the way that those penguins are just like, nope, we're in formation. We got our own army. Like, we are not going to do whatever you tell us to do. And they just start throwing snowballs. And it's just like, that's your defense against Bowser? You're throwing snow. Like, it was, but they were like so
hilarious.
intense, and they believed it so much. Like, it was so funny. And then, of course, they all wind up in the cages with the lava.
They were like, and that's just a taste of what we can
Yeah,
do.
exactly. I was like, oh boy.
I love that whole thing where they're like, dun, 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 like the music kicks in, you see it's all like they start
exactly.
moving
You thought that they might actually put up like a fight, and no, not at all. Not at all.
And suddenly it just like pulls back, and you just see them throwing snowballs, and like Bowser's like, and what? Like, yeah. And then he just fire.
Yeah, exactly. One and done. He's like, okay, on to the next one. Let's grab all these guys and go.
One of my favorite moments was the actual trailer that they made for the Super Mario Bros.
Oh my god, yeah.
And like
the commercial.
Yeah, the commercial was brilliant. I know I've never watched the animated shows from when I was younger, but like that was cool. So like I know that was a big tie to that as well. So but yeah, that was brilliant. I couldn't really fault this film. I think it had so many good nods along the way.
Yeah.
So, like
I had low expectations going in. And that was just because people had like just been so negative about it before it ever even came out. And after it came out, I started to hear people saying really, really good things about it. So I was like, okay, I'm going in here. Like, we just rewatched the 1993 film. So like, if I go in with that film on my mind, like, I think I'll be fine.
Okay. So how would you rate this film?
I'm going to go give it a 4.
Yeah. I wasn't sure where to go. Like, I'm going to give it a 4 too.
Yeah.
So,
a 4. I think that's fair. I think it was funny. It had the video game elements that were missing from the first one, but it also corrected a lot of the mistakes that the first one made. And it was just like a good uplifting story.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a feel good film. It's done well, so I enjoyed it. Okay, so for next week, our episode, we're having a whole month of gaming. So we kind of felt like Mario versus Sonic is a good fit. So
Nintendo versus Sega.
So Sonic the Hedgehog 2020 is the movie we will be doing next week.
Very excited.
You can follow us on social media. We are Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Geeks Unleashed.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts: Google, Podbean, Apple, Spotify. We are everywhere. So please leave us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
Have a good journey.
Good journey.
All right, bye.